Why have Prince Harry and Meghan Markle become the new faces of preventing online bullying and children's mental health? This is a question I was asking myself after watching their interview on CBS Sunday Morning, where they announced the launch of the Parents Network, an online community where parents who have lost their children to online bullying can come together and offer each other support in their time of grief. A worthy cause indeed, but why exactly are Harry and Meghan the experts on this issue? And why do Harry and Meghan want to be connected to and speak out for this issue, since, as Meghan put it,
our kids are young, they're 3 and 5. They're amazing.
Well, because this isn't really about their amazing children. This isn't even about the sweet parents who were unfortunate enough to lose their children, as we can see from Meghan's expression while she's listening to them describing their loss. This, as usual, is about these two, and specifically their brand. For this video, I'm going to talk about Harry and Meghan separately, since I no longer believe that these two are like salt and pepper, passing through life together. From their body language at the ESPYs to this interview, it is very clear that they are secretly separated. I think a divorce is coming, and Meghan is sharpening her knives for the proceedings. So the two of them are here for their own branding needs, starting with Prince Harry, who by many has been branded the Ginger Whinger because of his steady flow of grievances against his family, the British press, the British government, and the British people. But being cast in this light is really frustrating to Prince Harry, since with every passing day he becomes more and more of a joke, while his brother's reputation is steadily growing. I strongly believe that Prince Harry's entire goal for leaving the royal family, aside from getting to role play as Meghan's savior, was to undermine his brother's good standing and raise his own profile beyond what he considered as the limitations of his family. He, of course, miscalculated, never realizing that it was the structure of the family and firm that kept him adequately oriented towards duty, and thus earned him the love of the people. Without the scaffolding, however, we're all seeing Prince Harry unfiltered, and he can't for the life of him understand why we're not storming Buckingham Palace, unceremoniously ousting King Charles and Prince William and placing him on the throne. Confused, Prince Harry is continuing to do what he has done for most of his life, whatever the hell he wants, and then promptly complaining when things don't go his way. Currently, that has involved suing as much of the British press as is humanly possible. During his interview with ITV, he was kind enough to share why.
This is something that needs to be done. It would be nice if we did it as a family. I believe that, again, from a service standpoint, and when you're in a public role, that these are the things that we should be doing for the greater good.
So it's clear that Prince Harry believes that he isn't fighting the tabloids because of some grudge he's been harboring over the death of his mother and his failed relationships. No, he's doing this for the rest of us, something that his brother and father, according to him, are unwilling to do. Prince Harry has this sense that somehow he knows better than the rest of us and looks at us as ill-equipped to handle the challenges of life. This is really obvious during the CBS interview regarding cyberbullying.
If you know how to help.
Thank you.
At this point, we've got to the stage where almost every parent needs to be a first responder.
Strange first responder analogy aside, during the rest of the interview, Harry continues to invoke a lot of fear regarding the current situation, saying,
And even the best first responders in the world wouldn't be able to tell the signs of possible suicide. Like that is the terrifying piece of this.
And I was trying to understand why Harry was stirring up so much fear, saying that parents should arm themselves. But still, at the end of the day, it's going to be futile.
In the olden days, if your kids were under your roof, you knew what they were up to. And now they can be in the next door room on a tablet or on a phone and can be going down these rabbit holes. And before you know it, within 24 hours, they could be taking their life.
This is a pretty bleak viewpoint. And I find it surprising that during this or any other interview, Harry has not taken it down the natural line of logic, which is to encourage parents to keep children away from phones and social media when they're still young. This is advice you'll commonly hear from so many experts. But Harry doesn't want to go down the route of individual empowerment. Rather, he wants to take it, similar to Meghan, down the path of censorship and control. As he has said in the past, he believes that the First Amendment is bonkers. And as he has proven with his intense anger for the tabloids, he wants to bring the press to heel to his and Meghan's will, with social media in tow. The reason they have appropriately self-appointed themselves this task, according to them at least, is because they are both survivors.
Meghan herself knows a thing or two about online bullying. And of course, her husband Harry is no stranger to that either, or to unspeakable grief.
Now onto Meghan Markle's side and what she's getting out of this initiative. But first, a quick aside. A couple months ago, this company reached out to me and asked me to try their product to see how I like it. I was a little trepidatious about taking it because I'm very sensitive to caffeine and I stay away from all energy drinks. But I learned that Magic Mind is a mental performance shot that you can add to your routine because it helps with focus, motivation, and productivity. I especially feel the impact of the drink on the days that I have to do my least favorite task, which is editing my raw audio. I don't know why, but that task always takes all my willpower to get through. But when I take Magic Mind, my experience is that I can get into a really great flow and just breeze through large blocks of work and feel relaxed at the same time. It's wonderful. It's not a coffee replacement. If you listen to Andrew Huberman's or Chris Williamson's podcast, you know caffeine doesn't give you energy. It just blocks the adenosine neuroreceptors, which tell you that you're tired. But the block only lasts for a few hours, which is why we experience that caffeine crash later. But Magic Mind is a coffee enhancement. Because it has L-theanine, it makes that coffee last all day. Their formula also has ingredients that actively reduces stress. And it does not interfere with your sleep because it doesn't have a lot of caffeine. So if you're interested in learning more about this product and whether it's right for you, go to magicmind.com/baggageclaim. If you use my code BAGGAGE20 during checkout, it will get you up to 48% off your first subscription for the next 10 days, or 20% off for a one-time purchase. They do offer a full refund within 100 days if you're not happy with the product for any reason. So check out Magic Mind, and thank you for listening. And now back to Meghan Markle, who, like Prince Harry, is also after a rebrand. After years of crying about her time within the royal family and beyond, she's now ready to present herself as an empowered mom.
Being a mom is the most important thing in my entire life. And outside, of course, being a wife to this one.
We have a responsibility in all of that. The systemic change has to happen at the same time as the cultural change is happening. Because if you're reading something terrible about a woman, why are you sharing it with your friends? Why are you choosing to put that out in the world? What if it was your friend or your mom or your daughter? You wouldn't do it. And I think that is the piece that is so lost right now in what's happening in the digital space and in certain sectors of the media. We have forgotten about our humanity. And that has got to change, because I understand there's a bottom line, and I understand that a lot of money is being made there. But even if it's making dollars, it doesn't make sense.
If someone is looking for something, please don't feed them the thing that they're not looking for that's going to harm them.
Anyone watching this, or anyone who's able to make change, so look at it through the lens of, what if it was my daughter? What if it was my son?
There was, however, an awkward moment where the interviewer asked Meghan Markle about her own desires to end her life, as she had shared during the Oprah interview.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
And when asking about it, the interviewer can feel Meghan's discomfort, which she interpreted kindly, but all I saw was coldness before she suddenly shifted her demeanor.
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are.
Meghan has usually played the victim card adroitly, and here it seems like she was extremely reluctant. Instead, now she wants to present herself as a survivor, as having come out from the other side, as strong and brave.
If me voicing what I have overcome will save someone, then that's worth it. I'll take a hit for that.
For such a serious topic, there is almost too much happiness in her expression. It's very odd. And maybe the shift from anger at the question to triumph at the end of the answer is because Meghan sees the opportunity to level some attacks from a pretty fortified position. Being a victim of bullying and as a result saying you wanted to end your life is a protected position. Most people, out of decency, will tilt towards believing you and will aim to be on your side. During the Oprah interview, Meghan took this into account and structured the interview very deftly. She made sure to give the interview while she was pregnant, after sharing her experience of a miscarriage, and levied major attacks on the royal family, particularly at Katherine.
What?
This made any rebuttal impossible. People tried, but as we saw with Piers Morgan and Sharon Osbourne, they lost their jobs because Piers said he didn't believe her and Sharon in turn defended him. I'll be honest, I don't believe Meghan has ever contemplated ending her life. I think she has told Harry and the world that to gain the upper hand. And in this interview, while answering this question, she sees her advantage yet again and says this.
Is being able to be really open about it. And I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience. I would never want someone else to feel that way.
And I would never want someone else to be making those sort of plans, and I would never want someone else to not be believed.
And there it is. You can see the delight in her face at this remark. If there was true pain for her at not being believed, we would be seeing that on her face or in her eyes. But there is only pure delight. She claims she would never want anyone else to experience what she has, and yet she has made her father suffer in a way similar to the parents she's claiming to be an advocate for, where he has, in every possible way, lost a cherished daughter. All for a mistake, all for doing something that she does all the time, trying to manage his image.
I want her to reach out to me and let me see my grandkids and let me have a little peace.
There is one final piece to all this that makes things even clearer. Narcissists are often quick to claim to be suffering from pain that they're actually inflicting on others. From staff reports during her time in the royal family, there are plenty of stories of Meghan bullying people working for her, often reducing them to tears. Jason Knopf, who served as Harry and Meghan's communications secretary, stated in an email to Prince William's private secretary that he was very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. The Duchess seems intent on always having someone in her sights. Then there was the time that she made Katherine cry, not to mention her bullying Princess Charlotte when the little girl was only 3 years old. There was also a report that Meghan, in a fit of rage, threw a cup of tea after the Queen denied a request. The culmination of her behavior while at the palace led to many staff abandoning their posts and joining what they dubbed the Sussex Survivors Club. While Meghan is very careful about the image she puts forth, springing up tears, playing shy, coy, and vulnerable in front of the camera, we, the public, have seen several instances where her carefully crafted mask slips and the real Meghan flashes forward. Knowing that these stories have poisoned the well of her desired reputation, what better cause to take on than the bullying faced by children online, since it serves a dual purpose. One being that people can defend her against the bullying claims, since why would a bully try to stop children being bullied? And the second, allowing her to further paint the bullying allegations as part of the extensive online effort to bully her.
The bulk of the bullying and abuse that I was experiencing in social media and online was when I was pregnant with Archie and with Lily and with a newborn with each of them. And you just think about that and to really wrap your head around why people would be so hateful. It's not catty, it's cruel.
Top it off with the claim that she contemplated ending her life, and you have the cherry on top of an empowered victim out to change the world for the better tale. And all I can say is, bravo, Meghan, bravo. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to check out Magic Mind. By the way, they donate 5 cents for each bottle sold to mental health charities that help US homeless communities, which is a massive issue here in America. They also ship internationally to over 65 countries. You can learn more by using the link in the description. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.